Hi, welcome to Matt Holman Golf. I thought we'd take a look at Charl Schwartzel today. Great South African player, won the Masters a couple of years ago. It won the best swings in the game. He's not an overly large guy, maybe 160 pounds or so, but can still hit it out there 300 yards and fantastic ball striker and player. Very orthodox swing. So his hand stays inside the hand line, club head stays really on plane to maybe just move slightly outside. I think you're going to find Schwartzel will really work to this plane line. If we put a line on here, I think you're going to see his club's going to stay pretty much bang on that line. And then it will slightly steepen. Again, what we want to see. Club shaft just inside the ball, arms in front of the body. Now, one thing I think with Schwartzel's swing compared to some of the slightly more modern swings, he gets his arms a little bit higher than some. So you can see that if we set a shoulder plane and then his arm plane, he tends to get his arms a little bit higher than some other guys. From face on, great looking setup. Wide but really coiled, short arm swing, looks great. But from here, he's just going to really let his arms fall down now, so he gets back to the same line he went up on. So I think if we said that's him about halfway up. Just a little line on for his hands. Let's see where he is halfway down. Lets his arms fall, so he gets back to a very similar position there. Club's out in front of him, not remotely behind. Strong lower body movement, and then keeps everything turning and moving through. I think one reason all these guys create a lot of power is their swings are dynamic, so most amateurs don't really create this, and the big area is in the transition. These guys really have a nice pressure forward and down into that front leg, and then everything turns and they get this differential between the lower body and the upper body, where that lower body is really turned relative to their upper body. Now, for most good players and the pros I teach, the problem is they tend to do this sequence too much, so the lower body will outrace and in a way become too dynamic relative to the upper body, and so we're often trying to sort of reduce the amount of hip turned through the ball relative to the upper body and get everything synchronized and matching, where for the average slightly higher handicap or less dynamic powerful hitter, they're going to have the opposite problem. They're going to look very much like set up at strike point, where the body stays down, real strong lower body movement, everything keeps moving and turning through.